Hello friends, welcome to this 7th lecture on the course on consumer psychology. Now in the last lecture, the last 2 lectures, we were looking at the process of alternate evaluation, which is how consumers decide what products to buy from the market. Now the market is filled with a number of products which appeal to the consumers and they provide competing benefits to the consumers. So a lot of products, a lot of benefits, and it's a whole new world to the consumer where he sees a number of products offering a number of benefits, competing benefits, benefits that he has not thought of, all those kinds of things are there. So in this vast array of stimuli which is present in the marketplace, how does the consumer do alternative evaluation? And so in the last 2 lectures we looked at the process of alternate evaluation that the consumer utilizes and also the consumer decision rules that he uses for narrowing down what products to buy. So this lecture basically is going to focus on how does consumer choose an outlet. Now when the consumer has decided onto what products or he has determined those criteria on which he would try to select the products, and in the next step when he uses those criteria in using one of the heuristics, whether it is mathematical heuristic like the compensatory and the non-compensatory method, or it could be a simple heuristic like price or brand reputation, one of these features, and based on that he has decided on what product to buy, and also he has categorized whether his product is a planned or unplanned purchase. That is not the end of this whole game. So that is just the end of the alternate evaluation process. Now when the alternate evaluation process has been done, a choice of a product has to be done, and in choosing what products to buy from the market or what products to actually purchase from the market, procure from the market, a very important part is also of the outlet from where he is going to buy, the store where he is going to buy. So choice of outlet is what is the current topic that we will be discussing in this particular lecture. We will be looking at how does the consumer do outlet selection, why it is important, and through this process of shopping, how does it really take place. So 2 parts in this lecture. The first part we will look into something called outlet selection. So how does outlet selection happen, what are the factors, and how is how outlet selection is narrowed down and things like that. And in the last part we will see how does the shopping process actually take place. So how many types of shoppers are there, what is shopping orientation, and those kind of things. That is what we will do towards the end of this lecture. So how does the consumer do choice of an outlet, or rather what is the meaning of choice of an outlet, what is the importance of choice of an outlet, why it is important. So those days are gone when there was a mass product, and we looked into in the first or second lecture itself different types of strategies of marketing. When we were looking at something called market segmentation, we looked at different types of products and different strategies of marketing, and there we looked at something called mass marketing. Now those days of mass marketing are gone. We don't have those ration shops which was there, or one place to buy kind of a thing where all consumers will go and buy their products. Now in the today's world where a number of products are there, number of benefits are there, a variety is there, and the competition has arisen between marketers, outlet selection or selection of place for buying is important. And so the consumer when he is making a decision, this outlet selection of where to buy a product has a number of benefits as well as plays an important part into his selection process. Now at times the selection of an outlet or the place of buying plays a very important role in consumers decision process, and it becomes a determinant attribute. Now remember we looked at something called determinant attributes in the first part of this lecture, where determinant attributes are those attributes which actually decide how the consumer is going to make the final purchase. And so at times this place of buying becomes important. For example, and why this is there, so we will discuss reasons for that, but I will start giving you some reasons. One of the reasons could be people believe that if you buy from a particular store which is offering you that particular product, or from a product outlet that is more trustworthy than some other shop which will give you the product. So, we look at all those reasons, but first let us look at what is the process or what is outlet selection first of all. So, basically consumers in the present world, they shop into a lot of places, they shop at a lot of places. It is not just one place, as I said, it is not the old ration shop that we were looking into and consumer shopping there. Now, the place of shopping has expanded and is expanded vastly. It has gone outside the home. So, there is a number of places outside the home where the consumer can actually shop. For example, you have retail stores, these are stores where actually you can buy retail things. You have strip malls, you have discount malls. So, discount malls are those places like Big Bazaar or V-Mart where you have everything which is in a discounted form, every product that is there is in a discounted form, or you have huge indoor shopping centers. So, big shopping centers where you have things to buy, groceries to buy, clothes to buy, food to eat, maybe sometimes you have a cinema hall. So, huge stores where you can do a number of shopping, a number of things, buy a number of things and experience a number of services, or you could have a town center. So, this is a new concept not coming to India as such, it's in the west now up till now, but it's soon coming to India. So, town centers are those places where you have dedicated areas for buying and for enjoyment and for services and so on and so forth. So, complete town kind of a town center kind of a thing. So, in the west you call this as city centers. So, this is the place where, which is the center of the city, most people walk to this place and they experience the products or buy the products and do a lot of moving around. Or this could be, so these are all market dominated places or retail product dominated places, but there are other places which are not dominated by the market. For example, you can be a flea market where you can buy things. So, flea market are those places where people come in from the villages to sell their vegetables. It could be swap meets, it could be an auction or even a garage sale. So, it could be a market dominated place, like for example, a shopping place, a shopping mall or a shopping store, or it could be a non-market dominated place, for example, the swap meets or the auctions and garage sales. So, the consumer in the present world has a lot of place to shop. Now, in the earlier time, the shopping places were limited and so the choice of outlet was not important, but nowadays it is important because there are so many options outside the home. Now, not only outside the home, within the home itself, the consumer has a number of choices to shop or a number of things which are available, which gives him the variety to shop at different places. For example, you have catalogs. So, different catalogs come to you, some companies send you the pieces of information through catalogs, or you could have a telephone, watching television, shopping channels, a variety of sites on the internet. So, it's different sites, for example, Amazon.com, JCPenney.com or so on and so forth in the internet, which will show you a number of products which is there. It could be a whole shopping channel which is which comes into the TV. So, you have the ABC shopping channel, or within India you have Naptol.com and so many other .coms which actually show you a number of products, and you don't have to actually move outside your home to buy that thing. So, these are the variations, or these are the places that you can shop. And so, I am just giving you the variety that is out there, the number of options which is out there, which is within the home. So, you do not need to actually move out, and within the home itself a number of variety has come, and that is why, because of this variety, the idea of shopping or choosing an outlet has become important. Now, so the challenge here for the marketer right now is to understand exactly what drives consumers to making an outlet choice. So, when a marketer makes a product, is not up till then that he is interested, or that his interest lies. His interest also lies in understanding how does the consumer make the final choice of the product and where does he buy it. So, that is why nowadays you have marketers which not only manufacture products, but also open showrooms, also open places to buy, right, and that guarantees or that offers a kind of trust to the consumer that if the marketer is the one who is selling the product, then the service would be good, the product will be good, and no amount of tampering will be done. So, basically it's important for the marketers to understand how does the consumer actually make this final purchase. So, whether it is the brand that is important or the brand outlet that is important, and that knowing is very important to marketers, because that will decide how the consumer is going to behave into the marketplace. When he goes into the marketplace, how is he going to behave. So, that brings us to the next section, which is how, whether it is brand that is important or whether that is an outlet that is important. And so, there are 2 or 3 different versions of it, 2 or 3 different scenarios that can be created, which will decide whether a brand is important or a brand outlet is important. So, let us take an example. Let us say supposedly somebody wants to, person X wants to buy a Levi's jeans. Now, for him Levi's jeans is important, so he may select any outlet, go there till the point of time he gets a Levi's jeans and it is done. Let us say there is a person Y. For him it is the outlet that is important. So, he will shop at JC Penney, for example. So, he believes that JC Penney is a very good shop and that that it offers a good amount of discounts or a very likable place. So, here the jeans is the main important thing. For the first person, it is the brand that is important. So, he decides that I will go only for Levi's, so no matter where I am buying. On the other case, it is the place of buying which is there. So, people basically believe that JC Penney is a good, or H&M for that matter is a good store for clothing, and so I will go there, look at the since I want to buy a pair of jeans, I will go to the outlet and there will be number of brands which is available, and whatever the consumer, the marketer suggests there, whatever the shopkeeper suggests there, I will buy with it. And in the third case, there are people, or there is a person Z for whom he wants to buy a pair of Levi's jeans and he wants to buy a pair of Levi's jeans from a Levi's outlet, and for him that a brand as well as a place of buying is important. And so, 3 kind of consumers, and that is what the marketer is actually trying to understand. What cases or what are the characteristics of these type of consumers, and when do consumers focus more onto the outlet and more onto the brand, and when both of them are important. So, let us look into it. So, the first case, when brand choice drives outlet choice. So, there are cases. So, what are the characteristics of this? Number 1, the consumer has no particular outlet preference in loyalty. So, here the consumers have no brand a choice of outlet loyalty, and so they are just stuck to the brand. So, these are the brand loyal consumers, and so they want the brand, and so no matter what outlet is there, he will go ahead and buy it. The second thing is brand loyalty is strong. That is what I was trying to tell you. These consumers are very loyal to the brand. They believe that the brand will offer them everything, and so no matter where they buy it, if the brand is there. So, if Levi's jeans is what I am buying, so whether I buy it out of a very cheap store or whether I buy it from a very expensive store, no matter what, till the point of time that the Levi's jeans is offered to me, I will go ahead and buy it. And so, these people are brand loyal, and no matter where they buy it, that is not important. What is important is what brand they are buying. And the third thing to look at here is the consumer has sufficient product information to make the expertise of sales, personal or other outlet characteristics important. And so, in this case, the consumer has enough information about the product, and so he does not depend on people from the outlet to give them any information, or basically take any information from people from the outlet. So, he is kind of an expert onto the product and or product characteristics, and so he is sure that when he goes into the market and buys the product, the kind of benefit that he is looking is going to offer. So, outlet is not important for him. The second case comes in where outlet choice drives brand choice, and so as I said, there are other kind of consumers for whom the outlet is more important. JC Penney, going to JC Penney or H&M is more important than choosing a brand. And so, what kind of people are there? Those people are store loyal or store preference is very high. So, these go for buying because they believe that the store preference is very high. They like the idea of the store, they like the store atmosphere, and that is why they go ahead and buy into the store. In these cases, the brand loyalty is low, and so these consumers are not brand loyal in the sense that they do not stick to one particular brand. It is basically the store that they stick to and the brand, not to the brand, because they believe that swapping a brand is okay until till the point of time that the store that they are buying has some kind of a reputation, because that is what is going to give them the kind of benefit that they are looking at. And the third thing to look at is the consumer has insufficient product information and therefore values the characteristics of the outlet such as helpful staff. And so, here what happens is when consumers do not have enough information about the product that they are looking forward for, or enough information about the characteristic of the product, they are not experts, rather they are the novices there, and in those cases people actually prefer store because they believe that the store information, the people in the store actually go ahead and give you information, and that is going to help you. So, And if it is jeans that I am buying, brand information or a brand loyalty is more worthy, but supposedly I am not interested in electronics, I don't know anything about electronics, and I am going to buy a new laptop and I have no information about what laptops are, I will trust the Apple store, because I believe that the Apple store is going to give me more information about what to buy and what not to buy, or an HP store, because they will give me more information. So for those products which I am an expert, it is more or less brand that drives you to buy. For other cases, when you are not an expert, but you believe it, you have to buy something, it is more store information, directed information, or you are become more store loyal, because you believe that the information that is given to you at the store is more important, and that is going to help you in making the final purchase. And then there is a third case where brand choice and outlet choice work together. And so what happens there, the consumer seeks to buy preferred brand at an appropriate outlet. And so in this case, what happens is, there is a consumer who believes that going to a particular outlet for a particular brand is the best case scenario here. The marketer's best strategy is to be able to have, in the eyes of the target market, the best brands and the best outlet. So basically here, what can the market do if the consumer is brand loyal as well as store loyal, and believes that going to the particular store which the brand is offering or a brand store is going to help? What the marketer can do here is, he can create an image of the store in such a way and brand in such a way in the eyes of the consumer, that the consumer believes that the best store and the best brand, those combined together is going to only then he is going to get the maximum benefit out of it. So that is the characteristic of consumers who come to make decisions in this type of scenarios. So then comes the outlet image. So basically, when you are looking for an outlet, or when you are looking for a store to buy, a particular store to make this purchase, there are a number of factors which define this outlet image. And so this retail outlet image, or the image of an outlet of a store, is dependent a lot onto the self image. So people generally, how do they decide this outlet image, is basically the closer the outlet image is to the image of the person, to the self image of the person, the more he will be driven to it. So for example, if I am looking for grocery shopping, and the image of an outlet that I am thinking about is more extravaganza kind of a thing, a more high price thing, I will not go for it, because grocery shopping is more of a routine kind of a thing. And so I am looking for an outlet which gives me a routine kind of a service with more number of employees and not too much area, and more number of products, variations, and so on and so forth. So basically, outlet image, the way this outlet image really works is that people make this choice of an outlet, or the image of an outlet is built on how closely this image is to the self image of the person. Now everybody has something called self image. They believe that they have certain characteristic, weaknesses, and strength, and based on them, everybody has an image of themselves. They have a kind of a portrayal of themselves, believing that what they are and who they are, and the closer the outlet matches to them, the better it is for them to shop there. For example, if I have a person from an elite family, I have a person from the high upper middle class family, he will look for an outlet which is kind of giving him one-to-one preference. So he will look for an outlet where he is treated as a special person, and people there is a one-to-one interaction. But if I have a mediocre coming from one of those families which are in the middle class or the lower middle class, I will think of an outlet which kind of gives me more product information, gives me more number of products but less number of help, and that's going to be okay, right? So more not one-to-one kind of a thing, not too classy kind of a thing, an average outlet is going to work for me. So everybody's self image is there, and then when the self image meets the image of the outlet, and when it matches, that is how the outlet image is defined. Now there are several factors which define the outlet image, which creates the image of the outlet, or basically defines how an outlet would look like, and some of them are the functional attributes and the psychological attributes. So what are the functional attributes? For example, those attributes which actually work, which are the functional part of a outlet, includes merchandise selection. So how much merchandise the outlet is keeping, how much variety is it keeping, what type of merchandise it is keeping, what style, what color, those kind of a thing. The price ranges, what is the price range? So as I said, if I go to an upper higher class or on the top class, top economy class, an outlet matching that, I might have only the high price let us say clothes. Now, if I am looking for something for casual wear, I am not thinking of investing such money, I will not select an outlet like that. So, how much variation of price does an outlet had, that also creates an outlet image. The more variation of price that is there, the more genuine the outlet looks like and more number of people flock to it. As I said, outlets are also defined on in terms of what self image do people have. So, I have on one end I have very classy outlets. For example, I have an Apple store or some other kind of a store where they are maybe an Audi showroom or a kind of a thing which caters to the top middle to the top upper class people. On the other end, I might have a Maruti showroom which creates to every kind of people. So, that kind of a thing, and it depends upon what is the price range that you are having. And so, if you say that my cars start at let us say 90 lakhs or 1 crore, then the price range is very high, and so you expect people of that class to go to you. But if you have cars starting from 3 lakhs up to 20 lakhs, then you have a range of price and more number of people flock to you, and that is what the outlet image, and that is how the outlet image is. So, it will be more trustworthy or more reliable outlet. That is how the image is created. And then you have the credit policy. So, the credit policy is also depend on outlet image. How much credit are you going to give? So, what kind of credits are you going to give? For example, coupons, for example, conversions of into EMIs and all those things which may be there, and the store layout. How the store is laid out. If your store is laid out in a very haphazard way, if it is not arranged, not ordered, that creates a different outlet image than an ordered store, a kind of shelved store, shelf valley stores, and so on and so forth. So, these are the functional reasons or the functional attributes which creates the outlet image. Now, it is not only the functional attributes which create an outlet image, there are also some psychological attributes which create an outlet image in the mind of the consumer, and those attributes are a sense of belongingness, a feeling of warmth or friendliness, and a feeling of excitement. And so, these are related to psychological variables. For example, when you go to the outlet, how much do you see yourself accepted into it? How much warmth do you see? How cheerful you see people working there? How friendly they are? What is the kind of welcome that you are going to get? What is the kind of interaction that is happening, and what is the kind of feeling that is levied onto you when you visit this outlet, and that defines the psychological aspect of how an outlet image is basically created. So, consumers form an outlet image based on simultaneously on functional and the psychological attributes. So, what consumers do is take in this functional attribute, how much in terms of the product that it is offering and all those kind of product related factors, and then psychological related factors, and they join together and create an outlet image or the image of an outlet. So, as I said, a number of outlet attributes are there which basically go ahead and define my attributes. So, it could be the merchandise, it could be the service that I am getting, the clientele, what kind of clients come to it, what kind of consumers come to it, what are the physical facilities which are available, whether washrooms are available to you, whether some kind of lifts are available to you, escalators are available, physical facilities in terms of water, in terms of air, how much air is it, and so on and so forth. Convenience, how much convenience is there. For example, is there a sitting place for older people or children, and that kind of conveniences, or it could be what kind of promotion is the outlet giving. So, is this outlet not giving any promotion at all, or is it giving negative promotion, is it giving positive promotion, is it offering information within the outlet in store, are you getting more information, or whether it is some kind of product or product related promotions, that how conveniently can you see, that is also important. Store atmosphere. So, in terms of the store atmosphere, those features like how good the store is, whether it has lighter music or some kind of a perfume which is into the outlet, how airy it is, how friendly it is, how well it is shelled out, whether it is stacked at one place, whether it is all over the place, and so that kind of a store atmosphere and institutional factors. And so, all these factors are important in attributes of defining the outlet image. And post transaction satisfaction. So, basically post transaction satisfaction is once you have transacted with a particular outlet, how much satisfied you are. So, in terms of if you are returning it, whether they give you store credit or give you the money back, and those kind of post transaction satisfaction in terms if something is not gone wrong, whether someone comes from the outlet and visits and does work for you, or how do they talk to you when you have taken a product. So, those kind of store post transaction satisfaction is another thing to look at. Now, there are some marketing attributes also. For example, retailers can adjust outlet image to attract target consumers, and so one of the things that can the consumer marketers can do is they can adjust this image. So, they can work on any of these attributes, right. If they find that not more people are coming to their so often you see that there are outlets, there are stores, showrooms where people are not visiting, and any one of these reasons could be there. And so what marketers can tend to do is they can adjust one of these factors, and they can play around with one of these factors and adjust it so that the outlet image improves, and so most people find it near to the self image and start getting there or shopping there. So, all marketers, whatever the medium, seek to achieve a perfect fit with their target customers, and that is what I have been telling all around. What marketers want to do is that they want to study how these consumers actually form this outlet image, or how do they perceive this outlet image. And so, based on any of these factors, whether it is psychological factor or a functional factor, they try to match these factors with what the consumer is looking for and match it with consumer self image. The more closer the self image of the more closer a consumer finds his self image to the outlet image, and the more easy he finds to shop there, and he goes to that particular outlet and prefer that outlet and does a lot of buying. Now, why outlet image is important? Another reason is that sometimes consumer go there and for planned purchase, but with planned purchase they do a number of unplanned purchases also. So, when an outlet image is very good, when an outlet image is elevated or it is very close to the self image of the person who is buying there or making a purchase there, he can also think of doing unplanned purchases, and that way the marketers can make a number of profit. So, how consumers choose among outlets? So, when there is a number of ways in which the consumers actually makes a choice between outlets, and so one of the factors through which the consumers actually choose between outlet is something called the image of the outlet. So, outlet image, right? And so this outlet image is based on flow diagram I have put in, and how this outlet image is influenced, or how this outlet image really works. So, basically in this case what happens is any consumer who thinks of buying a particular product, he has a certain kind of a characteristic to look at, and so these are the household buyer characteristics, and these consumer, whatever characteristic he has, he generates a need. So, the first step in any buying process, in any process of making a purchase, starts with understanding the consumer characteristics. The first step the marketer has to do is to understand the consumer characteristics, and then the next step he has to do is shopping and purchasing need, understanding what is the need of the consumer. So, first he has to understand the consumer, and then also understand the need of the consumer, what is that he is wanting, and once that is there, the consumers, so with a certain characteristic, a consumer has a certain need, and this consumer can think about an outlet. So, once you have a particular need, a consumer has a particular characteristic, and this consumer who has a particular characteristic, for example, he is let us say more field dependent consumer, or he is more of an introvert consumer, or more of a flashy consumer, and that kind of a characteristics are there. So, each consumer has a characteristic, and this characteristic is called the self image. So, that's about understanding of the self. So, once that is there, a consumer is there, and then he has a particular need, he thinks about an outlet, and there are two ways in which he thinks about of where to buy the product. So, he has a need. So, there is a consumer who is field independent, right. So, he is one of those people who doesn't want to get information from outside, or doesn't trust information from outside. He believes in whatever information he has in his memory, and based on that he wants to buy. So, there is a need generated in him. For example, he want to buy a television or whatever it is, and once that need is generated, he then decides of where to buy the television. And there are two ways of looking into it. He can think about a store image, he can think about a place where he buys, a particular store where he buys, and think about fixed store Example, I will go to the Samsung store and buy it, or it could be another way of thinking about the store. For example, importance of store attributes and store image. So, the store image can be made directly in terms of going to a fixed store, or it could be made in terms of importance of store attributes. For example, I should go to a Samsung store is one thing, or I should go to a Samsung store which is at place X. Why I will go to at place X and not at Y? Because X has more number of attributes, right. So, this is how it works. This model works in this way. First of all, there is a consumer, he has certain characteristics and then he has a need. Let us say he has a need of buying a television. Once he has a need of buying television, he decides where to buy it. Now, this where to buy it can work two ways. In one way it can work is, I have decided to buy it from a particular outlet. Let us say I want to buy a Samsung television, that is the brand I am looking at, and I will go to a Samsung storeroom. Or it could be in terms of store attributes, which is in terms of I can buy a Samsung television from a Samsung let us say outlet, but there are two outlets X and Y. I will go to outlet X and not Y, because X has more number of brands which is there, the people there are more friendlier, and so on and so forth. And so, this is the second part to it. Now, once he has a store image, an attitude towards the store is reflected. That is what I was discussing about. So, once he has a store image and attitude, positive attitude. So, more number of people which are helpful, more convenience is there near in the city where I can think about buying something else, or can integrate two shoppings together, and so on and so forth. So, that gives a positive attitude towards a particular outlet which is X, which is preferring and not the buy, and that is why, that is how it makes the store choice, saying that I will go to X. From there, when he goes into the store, he gets some kind of a in-store information processing. Within the store, he has a lot of information which is there. So, once he approaches the store, there will be people who will be telling you what to buy, what not to buy, what he is buying is of what use, and so on and so forth, and that information is going to feed back onto the store image. So, the more in-store information he gets, the more likely that store will be more strictly adhered to his memory, and he will think positively about that store. The lesser information that he gets into the store, the more chances that he will not visit that outlet more, and that will this in-store information will further on go back and dip into the product and brand purchase, and that will lead to more product and brand purchase. So, once he goes into the store, he knows the store is good, he likes the store, and he gets more product information. For example, he thought of buying a LED TV, but when he goes into the store, he comes to know that Samsung also has an UHD TV or some other kind of a TV which is better than an LED TV. The offers are also there, and some other variation is there, and that kind of a thing, and so he gets that kind of a product and brand information and makes the final purchase. And then there is a feedback that if this particular thing, this product and brand purchase is good, he gets benefit out of it, this feedbacks into the particular need. So, when he goes against to buy, what will happen is he will go into the shopping process, and in this case, if a second need is arose, if he wants a second TV, what will happen is, since the first TV has worked out for him, it is a positive feedback, he will then go directly into the store image, right, and make the purchase. He will not go into looking at the importance, because what has happened is, in the first case, he has got enough information from the store store, and the attributes that he was looking for in the store is out there, and so this process will go on. So, depending on the, so this is one way of how consumer chooses among outlets. So, a number of variables are there how consumers chooses among outlets, and I have just discussed about outlet image. The more closer the outlet image is to your self image, that is how you are going to buy, and that is the whole model of how this really works. Level of involvement, how much involved you are with the product. The more involved you are with product, the more important the outlet is. The lesser involved you are with the product, the lesser important the product buying is. So, if the product has also the perceived risk, the more risk that you think of buying a product, the more you think that it is not only physical, psychological risk is also involved in buying a product, you will go to a more secure outlet, you will go to a more image outlet, or a more worthy outlet. And if you believe the risk of buying a particular product is very less, if there is no risk involved, then you can buy it from anywhere. And it could be that if you are buying let us say if you are buying a good pair of clothes, you want a jean, a new kind of jean. So, it is more important, it is more comfort based. So, you will think about an outlet which basically stocks the kind of brand that you are looking at, or good outlet, and you will not look for flea markets for buying a pair of jeans. But it is tablecloth if you are buying, then you will maybe go to a flea market, because the risk associated with this product is not that. Or hankies that you are buying, you can also buy it from station stores or footpath stores and that kind of a thing. So basically how much risk do you see into it. Also advertising. So advertising is another way of how consumers choose outlets. So sometimes outlets are advertised. So advertisement, there are good advertisements saying that come to Walmart where I am giving you this much offer, or these offer you this kind of a convenience, or come to Decathlon as a sports store. So advertisements in papers, in television, sometimes they are done to highlight an outlet, and that also creates an outlet image, because that shows how the outlet is. It shows all the store atmosphere, store merchandise, people, and so on and so forth. Price, more variations in price, more ways of offering a price, the more the chances of you going to the outlet. So somebody just saying that I have reduced price will not be preferred, because at times this low prices can also be expressed in different ways. For example, I can offer you if you buy 3 you get 1 more. So there I am also offering you a price reduction, but this is a new way of saying that something is of less price. Or store coupons, or using the word free, something comes free with it. So how much price variations, how much manipulation you can do with the price, that also creates an outlet image, or that also helps creating an outlet image into the consumer mind. And outlet size and location, and that is related to what is the size of an outlet. Small size outlets people don't prefer for very good gifts, because what happens is that if you're buying a high involvement product, you look for more size, you look for where the outlet is. And so if it is high involvement, you would think about, or you would not stop from going to places and buying going distance and buying a particular product. But if it's a low involvement product, you would go to maybe the shop next to you. So basically it's also dependent on involvement, of how involvement you are, and also outlet size, of how big an outlet is, that also designed. So very cozy outlet, very small outlet is not preferred, rather a bigger outlet is always preferred. And location, as I said, it depends upon how you are buying the product, and so outlet size and location has an important part to play into outlet image into the consumer's mind. Next comes the important question that we wanted to look is, why do people shop? So what is the reason that people actually go ahead and shop? So the tendency of people within there are a number of reasons that people shop. The shopping is actually, there is something called shopping orientation. So the way people shop, how they shop, and people just don't shop for buying products, not getting products and their benefits. Sometimes people, or at times people shop for the experience of it, and that is called experiential shopping, right? So you might have seen in bigger malls, people go there, they buy the product, but they see a number of products. So the shopping is not just getting products and getting product benefits out of it. It is getting the experience, a whole experience of shopping. It is to do with where you are going, how you are dealing with it, what is the experience that you are getting, all the surrounding environments, all the noises which are surrounding it, all the thrill within that shopping process itself. So shopping is not just buying product, it is a whole experience that is there. And so the shopping process, defining a shopping process is a very important thing. So people shop for several reasons. One of the reasons that people shop is tendency of people within societies to role play. So people shop because they have certain roles to play. At times people shop because they are fathers, they are mother, they are sisters, brothers, and so on and so forth. They are an officer, they are an employee, and so different roles that they are playing within the society make them shop. So at times they will be shopping for the house, grocery shopping, at times they will be shopping for the office shopping. The same person is doing a number of shopping, and so for attaining different role plays, showing these role plays, people shop. The second is people shop for the sake of diversion. A number of people actually get involved into the process of shopping for diversion. What happens is that at times you might have seen that at times you feel boring, you feel not good, and so one of the outlet of that is shopping. And so sometimes people just shop so that they get diverted from their whole life, from their day-to-day life. So it may be that it is the thing become too boring, or the life becomes too boring, it's no more interesting, it is no more exciting for you, and you shop because the feeling is exhilarating. When you go into the market, it is all a different experience. It gives you the pleasure of buying, right? The pleasure of spending money, the pleasure of acquiring something, and that is why you shop. And so people shop for diversion from their daily lives. People also shop as a means of self gratification. At times people shop because when they shop, they show that they have the power to buy things, so they get this self gratification, they have the control in them, and so to express this control, to express that self worth, to express that completeness in self, they shop. So they shop because they can, they shop because they feel gratified with it, they shop because they feel enjoyed by buying, and so one of the reasons why people shop is for gratification. Another reason is why people shop is to learn new trends in the market. So people are stuck with one trend, people are stuck with one kind of product, they shop to learn new things, to understand how new things are there, how many new things are there, and so that's one another reason why people go ahead and make shopping or go into the shopping process. And another interesting reason why people shop is physical activity. Sometimes you go shopping because that creates a lot of physical activity. So those people who sit and do their work and they don't move around too much for any academic settings, these people go shopping because when they shop, a number of physical activity happens. Kind of physical activity happens where they move away from the academic atmosphere and go ahead and get involved in some other atmosphere, and then maybe take a walk or do at least something different from the academics, and that is the reason they shop. And sometimes shopping is the physical activity because stores would be at a different place, and so you at least walk to that, and so you shop because of this physical activity. And sometimes people shop, why is because for sensory stimulation. You like that thing, right? The rush when you go into the market, the kind of people, that kind of noise that you see there, the kind of all the jingles which is there, huge noises, bands playing and all those atmosphere, the simulation which is there, the kind of energizing atmosphere which is there, that is one of the reasons what attracts people to shop. So one of the reasons why people shop is because they like the sensory stimulation, that lighting, that sound, that music, that aroma, and all those things combined together to give you a hypered feeling, and that is one reason, or that is another reason why people actually go ahead and do a shopping. Those were the personal motives, those were the personal reasons why people shop. But it is not only the personal motives why people shop, there are certain social motives also which make people shop, and one of them is the social experience outside the home, the desire for social experience. The man being a social animal, if you contain him within a place, or if you contain him within an atmosphere, he doesn't like it, so he wants to move. And so this outside experience, the social experience of meeting new people, meeting your own friends in a different atmosphere altogether, meeting people you can talk to, who can express to you, and meeting new social environments is one reason why people shop. So it is the social experience of moving outside the home and meeting new people's acquaintances, friends, a whole new class of people, that is why one reason why people shop. To communicate with others of similar interest. Another reason why people shop, a social reason, is that they get a chance to communicate, they get a chance to express their feeling and talk to people who have similar interest to them. And so another interesting reason what make people shop is to meet people or to talk to people who have the similar interests or interests similar to them. Where why is that? Because this is a social need, so that they can communicate with them, so they can keep up with them. So then at least, because talking or communicating is an important aspect of humans, and so humans are meant to communicate, and so when they don't communicate, is not good. So it might so happen that the place that you're living at may not have people who share similar interest as you are, and so why you shop is when you go into the natural environment, into the market, you get people with similar interest and you can talk yourself out, and so that's one reason why people shop. Peer group attraction. At times people shop because other people shop, right? And so peer people who are near to you, they make you shop, they buy new things, and so you get attracted to that, and so you buy new things. And so it's basically your peers, your friends, your acquaintances make you shop, and sometimes the shop is making these acquaintances, making this attraction. This peer group make you, or the peer pressure makes you shop. Another reason is a desire for status and authority. Sometimes you shop because you want to attain a certain status and authority, move ahead of others, have a status above than others. So you shop because you would have things which other people don't have, and that will give you authority. For example, in a village, buying a new car is authority, or getting a new kind of phone or getting a new kind of fridge gives you that authority, because people will respect you in that way, saying that he is the one who's having that kind of a product, and so respect that you get, social status that you get, makes you shop. And the pleasure of bargaining. Sometimes people shop because they want to bargain. Mostly housewives and people who are involved in buying. So the pleasure of bargaining, the pleasure of economizing, the pleasure of going through the ups and downs are another reason why people shop. So number of reasons. It could be a personal motive or a personal reason, or it could be a social motive or social reason why people shop. So why do people shop? There are some hedonic motives also, and these hedonic motives are related to the advantage that you get when you shop, the benefit that you get, the mental advantage that you get by shopping, by possessing that product, the gratification, as we have dealt with, the social gratification, the self gratification that you get after receiving a product, the role that you play while shopping, whether you are shopping for a friend, you are shopping for as a friend, or as someone else, for someone else, that is another hedonic motive. The value which is there that you get after the shopping, that is another hedonic motive. And ideas and social. For example, sometimes the hedonic motive is you shop because you get new ideas about new products, and socializing is another reason why you shop, another hedonic motive why you shop. So how do people actually shop? Now, shopping orientation is what is basically the reason or the main characteristics of how do people shop, and shopping orientation is the style or the way of shopping. So basically what shopping is related to, or how do people shop, is related to something called shopping orientation. So different people shop differently, and a classification has been done, or 5 or 6 classification has been done to name a number of shopper types. For example, we have in-store economizers. These are the same people who when inside the store they do this economizing of buying this over that kind of a product, because these are not the same people who learned before or decide before kind of purchasing. They go into the shop and then they economize what to buy and what not to buy. Similarly, you have the economy planners. These are the same people who will buy products in terms of economy. So if you get buy 2 get 1 free kind of a thing, or 2 for 3 kind of a thing, these are the same people who are there. They will economize by buying. They look for economy in terms of buying. You have involved traditionals. These are the same people who are very traditional people, involved people, and they don't go out of tradition. So if they have been buying a particular brand for over a period of time, they will just stick to it because they don't want to go out of traditions. You have the homemakers. These are the same people who are concerned about the home, and so the shopping pattern is entirely different from any of those, and so they are always in terms of thinking about the home and buying in terms of the home. You have the epithetic or mechanistic shoppers. These are the same people who just shop for the need of shopping. So they have a need, they go there, they buy it, end of story. No experience needed, no kind of a coupon needed, not looking for coupons and all. Mechanistic shoppers. And convenience seekers. Convenience seekers are another reason, another kind of people that they shop. They shop because the place that they are looking for or the product that they are looking for is offering them convenience. It is nearby to them, and that is the reason they shop. So we have 5 or 6 different kind of shoppers which are there, and so this is the how do we shop. So one of these reasons are the reasons how do we actually shop. Now how does the shopping process take place? Now sometimes people shop, or sometimes you have a surrogate shopper. So another method of shopping is a surrogate shopper, where a person, firm or other entity paid to by the consumer to make a facilitate a product or service selection decision on behalf of that. So sometimes what happens is the consumer doesn't have enough time, and so they utilize something called surrogate shoppers. And surrogate shoppers are firms, people whom you call up and you tell them your preferences, or what you want, what you don't want from a product, what is the liking and unliking, and based on that they buy the things for you. So another way of shopping is using a surrogate shopper. So shopping behavior is in different shopping venues. Also shopping behavior, this idea of shopping, how do we shop, also varies from different places. For example, in an upscale restaurant, the way you behave with the waiter, and in a normal restaurant, how do you behave with a waiter will be entirely different. Also in shopping malls and in showrooms, the behavior will be entirely different. So people have these behavior differences while shopping, and so that also defines how you shop. So shopping center traffic primarily consists, or generally shopping center is mostly consists of women. So both men and women go to shopping malls to shop, and catalog shop has rated retail services, contact and unusual product source benefits higher than the shopping center products. And so this whole idea of different place, shopping differently for different place, or your behavior in different places has also a way of shopping. So this is another way of shopping, how you change, whether it is a catalog shopping you are doing or a shopping mall shopping you are doing, where you are shopping, who is shopping, and all those will decide the kind of shopping that you have or the shopping process that you are going to utilize. So consumer decision during shopping process, when you are shopping, what are the decisions that the consumer is actually going to make? A number of decisions the consumer makes. For example, which product type to buy. So one of the first things that the consumer does while shopping is what products to buy. So through this alternative evaluation and choice, he had decided the products. And so one decision, the first decision a consumer has to make once he has decided the outlet and the product, is what product that he is going to buy. The second decision he has to make is how many to buy, how much product to buy, whether he has to buy one product, just the single one, a multiple of it, or 3 or 4 of it, and so on and so forth. Which brands that he is going to buy. So out of the number of brands, what kind of brand he is going to buy. So these are the decisions that the consumer take while he is shopping. The outlet at which he is going to purchase. So another decision that the consumer has to do is what outlet he is going to go, based on the store image, based on the outlet preferences, based on the attributes of the outlet, and so on and so forth. He has to decide where to buy. Now when to complete the transaction, also he has to decide how should he complete the transaction and when should he complete the transaction. Should he deliberate more, should he complete it like a mechanistic shopper, should he enjoy more and complete the transaction, and so on and so forth. Also another decision that he has to decide is how to pay. Should he pay by credit card, store credits, should he pay by currency cash, or what kind of payment is he going to make? That's another reason, because that decides whether he can pay. So if it's a big purchase, for example, can he pay by EMI, right? So how does he pay? That's important. So if a big product is there and if the store offers some credit policies where he can convert the buying into an EMI, in those cases the purchase will be more, and the consumer will like the outlet more, and the more buying will be there. And that's one reason why these e-retailers like Amazon.com and Flipkart.com are offering you this whole convenience of converting the purchase into an EMI with no rates that you have to pay, a 0% EMI. And so when they offer you something like that, in the same concept that I have explained to you in my introductory video, one of the ways to attract consumer is penny a day. So what they do is buy this product now, enjoy it over a 12 months period, no price to, or no extra price that you have to give, and divide the whole price of the product into small bits and pieces. So a 12,000 product over a period of 12 months become just 1,000 per month, and that is easier for you to perceive. And so how this paying policies, how much paying policy is there, that another decision which the consumer has to decide. And then there are other decisions, for example, how convenient it is, what kind of things it is offering for other members, what is the convenience that you are going to get there, what kind of benefits that you are going to get there, and so many number of other things the decision has to make. So these are a number of decisions that the consumer has to make through, or has to go through while doing the shopping process. So in this set of lectures that I concluded in this whole lecture number 5, 6 and 7, what we looked at is how does consumer do the alternate evaluation. So once the information is there, once a need is arrived at, once the consumer recognizes that he has to buy something, and from that need the process of information search has been completed, and he has the search, or he has enough information, he goes into the market to do alternate evaluation. And so in these 3 lectures what we saw is how does this alternate evaluation actually takes place, how does the consumer determine those factors on which he is going to make the purchase, and what is the process of determining those factors. Now once decided, the next lecture looked at what rules that he is going to make, what heuristics he is going to make and use and make the purchase, and also how does this plan and unplanned purchase go about, or where do they fit into his decision rules. And in this lecture we looked at another important factor of this whole buying process, that is outlet selection. How does consumers actually select the outlet, and what role does outlet selection has in terms of buying a particular product. So if he is selecting an outlet X over Y, why is he doing it, and if he is doing it, then what percentage of or what effects does it has into the shopping process. And lastly, we saw what is shopping all about. So, as I said, shopping is not just a thing of buying a product and enjoying it, it is the whole experience that is there. And so, how do consumers, so we looked at 4 or 5, 6 different type of consumers which is there, how does the process go about, and what are the kind of decisions that you actually have to make while shopping. In the next lecture that we are going to do, we will look into the third part of this series, which is the post purchase evaluation and satisfaction. So, that is where the consumer has already bought the product and used the product and consumed the product, and after that what happens is what we are going to see in the next upcoming 2 lectures. We look into the whole process of how does the post purchase happen, post purchase evaluation happen, and when it leads to satisfaction or dissatisfaction. So, when it leads to satisfaction, what happens when it leads to dissatisfaction, when a consumer is not satisfied by a particular product, what does he do, and how can the marketer take this point and influence consumer buying. So, the basic idea in this whole story is that what can the marketer do, what can he learn, and also since the course is on consumer psychology, we are focusing more onto those consumer variables or those psychological variables of the consumer which helps him make this shopping process or this whole idea of shopping. Now, next after the post purchase consumption, we look into those specific variables, psychological variables which actually help a consumer or which decides the behavior of the consumer into the actual marketplace. Thank you.